Hello YouTube, it's Atticus. How we y'all doing? Hope everybody's well. I'm back with you for a really cool video. Now, yeah, this one is on this really unique map. It's a really small one with a very, small choke point right here. It kind of forces all your troops to have to come in through the middle. But, there's some really good Vanguard options, and there's some really cool tactical options that you have for where to post your army. Since it's, kind of really big in the back, small in the middle. So most of your engagements, whoever's going to be the attacking side is going to be at a disadvantage. So if you're the defender, obviously you have, you can hide in the trees. You have the element of surprise. And you can pretty much bottleneck my army if any artillery. Now, there is Vanguard in the back here, as you can see, which is the only Achilles heel for the defenders of this army. So let's go ahead and just look into the build, guys. Hope that made sense what I was trying to say. I brought a Tomb King, and I brought him on the construct here, guys, on the kitty cat. And yeah, the reason I do this in the High Elf matchup, even though they do have a front line of spears, I find that he's really good because he has mass and he's able to break through the front line and get into the back, get into the juicy sisters and things like that. And spears don't really have the best armor piercing, so he's more deceptively survivable than you might think just from the initial stats. I also, guys, have a Necrotect, and the reason I bring that obviously is for the heals. He buffs up any constructs that he's near, and you also get 2 castings of heal, which I'm going to be using on the Sphinx right here. And yeah, this thing right here, guys, is a beast. I took this specifically expecting Dragon Princes. Since they have a physical resist, the Sphinx right here does magic damage, which will bypass that, so he's a really good counter to things like that. For my front line, guys, I wanted to play it safe. I was expecting monsters. I was expecting dragons, birds, anything like that, Dragon Princes. So I brought a front line of Tomb Guard with halberds, and yeah, just like the spearmen for the lizardmen, these guys could hold their own in combat. Now, they won't beat swordmasters, but against like spearmen and things like that, even white lions, these guys can hold pretty good. Now, if you mix in a construct in that line mixed in with him, these guys will, they'll fight to the end. And they do have silver shields right here, which means they're going to take 55% less missile damage if they're facing the shooter. So yeah, we got a front line of that. Then, guys, on each flank here, I brought 2 units of skeleton warriors. Now, these, of course, are the shaft units, but the reason you do that is, 1, to pad out your line, and for 2, that you could try to encompass. So yeah, the main infantry force will come in through the middle, and these the two skeleton warriors will come around and try to get a flank. So we're going to try to surround my enemy, same way that you would kind of go against like a dwarf or something like that. So we have that, and in the back, guys, we have a Screaming Skull Catapult, which I'm a huge fan of. Now, this thing has a ability that lowers leadership. So when it hits you, it's dropping your leadership by, what, like 10? Is that what it is? Let's see if it'll let me. It won't let me click on it. But yeah, it just lowers your leadership. Protecting that, I do have the King Scorpion Legion right here. And these guys are just, a poison spear, Regent of Renown. It's always good just to protect your investment if you are going to go that. And then just a spear here in the back, guys. So yeah, that's my build. I feel like it covers all the bases. It's really going to be relying on my Lord to assist these Tomb Guards. But yeah, you'll see. I think it's going to be pretty to the task. And Deep Vanguard, guys, I also brought 2 units of Skeleton Horsemen of Archers. The reason I did that, that's because of the Vanguard options. I was hoping that my opponent wouldn't be facing the right way, and I'd be able to get some early damage in before he even noticed what was hitting him if he wasn't paying attention. So alright, let's go to look at my opponent's build here, guys. And for his lore choice, he did bring Alariel the Radiant. I do believe it's either that or Teclis. I don't remember. Where is he? There he is, right there. Yeah, Alariel the Radiant. So Alariel the Radiant needs no introduction. She's the best healer in the game. She has her cone healing and all those other buffs. Let's see what spells she brought. So she brought Arcane and Forging, Earthblood, and a few other spells. But yeah, she pretty much brought a full loadout. For my opponent's front line here, guys, he has a mixture of Swordmasters of Hoeth. He has the Scions of Mathlon, which of course will give that ward save, so it's always good to take those if you're going to have a powerful infantry corps. A Spearman, and then a secondary line of a Sister of Avalorn, which are just beast. We have a Dragon Prince, a Lothern Sea Guard, the Storm Rider, so really elite, really powerful unit. He has a Bolt Thrower here, and an Eagle right here, guys. So yeah, really powerful army. I like this. Let's see if he has any Vanguard. Just make sure. Oh, over here we have the Grey, the Shadow Warriors. So yeah, my opponent brought a lot of Regent of Renown, a lot of powerful units. It's gonna be interesting to see how he applies it in this battle. So let's go ahead and start the match here, guys, and see how it goes. So right off the bat, like I always like to say, I don't see these guys, and these guys do have snipe, so keep that in mind. When they're shooting, if I'm not directly in there, close to them, I'm not going to be able to see where they're shooting from, so I'm not going to be able to return fire. Over here, the bolt thrower is going to open up, and we'll see it's going to get some direct hits into the tomb guard here. So yeah, I don't have any carrion, which is usually a rule of thumb that I always bring in this matchup, but I didn't bring him this game. I was kind of hoping I could just rush there and get, the damage as soon as possible. Over here, though, you can see the gray are going to start opening up. And these guys, I'm on the fence about, if they're good. I mean, their stats are really good, but they just don't have a lot of ammunition. And they got 18 volleys, and it doesn't really have a lot of armor piercing. You can see that he's kind of wasting that ammunition on shielded targets. So, a little bit of a mistake by opponent. You might want to wait till my army passed and then hit him from the back. Seeing that these guys are here, though, I am going to, detach a skeleton unit to start chasing them. Over here, though, guys, my trap has been sprung. You can see that my opponent has not realized that he's getting shot in the back. And yeah, you guys are just getting hit, and I'm tripping away at a pretty, target that can do a lot of damage to me. These guys do have anti-large, obviously. Now they are going to turn around. I think my opponent is finally going to realize where they are, and he's going to open up and start just, barraging these guys with a crap load of damage. I'm going to pull them back here pretty shortly. You can see, though, we have a long distance here to traverse. I'm taking a lot of damage up on the approach. We are going in the water, which is going to slow some of my units. But yeah, the Sphinx is almost in position, and his bolt thrower is a little exposed. Over here, you can see the eagle has landed into these skeleton horse archers. So that's really good for my opponent to catch these guys. And you see they're taking a lot of damage. So, but, we were able to do a little damage, too. We were able to almost destroy this full unit of storm riders. Opponent did get off a chain lightning spell, or a banishment. I wasn't able to catch it there, but yeah, he did a little bit of damage, guys. You can see it didn't really do too much, and yeah, you can see that the armies now are getting ready to collide. Over here, his dragon princes did collide into some of my units, but I was able to catch him with the Sphinx of eunuchs and my skeleton warriors. So yeah, and over here he does have the gray. They still haven't been discovered, and they're being a nuisance. They still have about half their ammunition, but yeah, the dragon princes are being able to pull out. You can see the front lines now have collided. The necrotech, we got the halberds, and everything's just colliding, but I don't have the support of my constructs, which is a little bit unfortunate. Over here you can see the screaming catapult is providing some overwatch, and yeah, my opponent has these Sisters of Avalorn, which are just doing a lot of damage. I really need to get my constructs over as soon as possible. You can see my opponent's going to get a really juicy rear charge in, and now finally I'm just starting to pull my reserve army to try to get after him. And you can see he has a healing spell here, and the cone just keeping those guys at full health. And yeah, you can see that my Sphinx is hot on the tail of Valerial and the Dragon Princes, but they're just a lot faster, so it's being it's a real problem for me. Over here, you can see these Skeleton Warriors are getting into the Storm Riders right here, and yeah, we're going to be able to shut them down pretty soon. You can see that my Lord is finally in the combat, which my infantry units desperately needed, just because they were getting outclassed. And you can see we're getting some direct hits by the Screaming Skull Catapult. So yeah, this is what the Lord excels at, but he's taking a lot of damage from the Sisters of Avalorn, so that's something I'm going to have to really deal with quickly, or I'll have my Lord get sniped before I have a chance to respond. Over here you can see the Sphinx guys is in one-on-one combat with the Dragon Princes, and yeah, this is what he excels at. Luriel is in the mix though, but yeah, these guys are not anti-large. They're not the Regiment of Renown, so even though my opponent causes false protection, they are ultimately going to lose that battle. Over here you can see one of my units of spears have gotten into the back, and yeah, we're able to chase away these Sisters of Avalorn guys. So having the the superior numbers and having that those units on each flank allowed me to just bypass some of his forces, bypass his defensive line. Over here you can see that I'm going to cast my Ushapti summon, and I wanted to get rid of these Dragon Princes, and I figured I'd be able to trap them, so I'm going to summon them, and it's going to do a little bit of damage. It's going to force him to pull away, which is going to allow my Sphinx just to start nipping them in the tail as they run away. Over here, guys, you can see that I have gotten into his Bolt Thrower. He does have the unit of spears protecting him, but yeah, these Tomb Guards with halberds will beat them in one-on-one. Over here, though, you can see that the Grey have pretty much used all their ammunition, and I detached a unit of Skeleton Warriors to deal with these guys, but yeah, they're not going to really win in that fight, but if anything, it just keeps them busy. Over here, though, you can see that my Skeleton Spearmen have gotten surrounded by the Scions of Mathlon, his Lothran Sea Guard, his Sisters of Avalorn. So, yeah, we're keeping them busy. We're keeping them from shooting me, which is the most important thing. And over here, you can see the Eagle is dealing with these Skeleton Warriors, guys. But that's what I'm hoping that he'll do. I want him to be dealing with all those shaft units, which gives me time to deal with the more, threading units. And he can't really support them, which is more important. You can see, guys, we're starting to get some terror routing. We've finally broken the Bolt Thrower, and over here you can see, yeah, the Dragon Princes are getting just absolutely wrecked by this Sphinx, who's not taking hardly any damage. And keep in mind, I have the Necrotech, which can heal him. opponent's going to get another good cone healing spell on these sword masters, but without any spears or anti-large, they're just really outclassed. I mean, they're not going to survive against the Screaming Catapult, my lord. You know, we got a Necrotech, we got the Yashapti, and now you can see that the High Elf line is finally broken, and the balance of power is finally starting to come in my favor. You can see immediately after I break his line, I'm going to pull the Tomb King into these Sisters of Avalorn. Now, these guys still have ammunition, so it's really important to me to shut them down before they have a chance to snipe my lord. So yeah, you can see we're going to get a really good juicy charge into these Sisters here. We're going to be able to shut them down. Over here, you can see I'm having my Necrotech just escort these Sword Masters off the map. We have 2 units that could possibly come back and get healed. And yeah, those things are a credible threat. Over here, he does have the Grey, who are going to try to get into my Screaming Catapult, I'm assuming. So I'm going to catch that, and I'll be able to shut that down, or at least intercept them before they have a chance to do damage. Over here, you can see Elariel is in some bad territory. She doesn't want to be here against the Sphinx, who's going to just do a lot of damage, start chipping away at her. Now, my opponent does have some Bolt Throwers who have come back from routing in a Spear unit, and he desperately needs to get that into the Sisters, or excuse me, to Elariel to shut her down, to protect her before she gets sniped. Over here, you can see this Eagle is still dealing with these Skeleton Warriors, and yeah, I think they do cause fear. But yeah, I mean, these are undead, so I don't suffer from fear and terror. Over here, though, guys, you can see we finally have broken these Sisters of Avalorn with my lord. And these spears right here are getting ready to break, the Scions. And yeah, I'm just going to escort them off the map with these Skeleton Spearmen. But yeah, just immediately they're just going to come back from routing. So yeah, that was a lot quicker than I thought. And you can see they're just going to start immediately doing damage to the Tomb King. He's almost down to half health, so I can't, let up on that. I have to be really quick to shut them down. Over here, you can see Elariel is running away from the Sphinx. She is going to start running into the Screaming Catapult. And over here you can see, yeah, my Spearmen were able to intercept the Grey. But the Grey guys have really good stats. Look at that, 45, 46, 26 to 28, 18. So yeah, they are going to beat him. But, do I really need the Catapult at this, at this juncture of the battle? The balance of power is really heavily in my favor. I've dealt with his front line, so now, I mean, he still has that little, force here in the back who could possibly cause a little damage. But yeah, his Sister Avalorn, I mean, he has an Eagle and he has these Lothern Sea Guards, but he really needs to get his units together and try to form, a comeback if he was going to win this battle. You can see right here the Sisters of Avalorn are just finally going to be breaking again to my Tomb King, especially with the support of the Necrotech. I do have a unit of Skeleton Warriors, 6 units left, who are there just to hopefully protect and keep my opponent from, doing excess damage. You see my opponent is going to try to get back into the Bolt Throwers here. He does have enough units to start shooting again, and I'm immediately going to have the Screaming Catapult start shooting in on him. I don't want these guys coming back. And you see, we're starting to break him. Elariel is going to come back, though, and we're going to see if it does a direct hit on these catapults. Yeah, direct hit, it's going to kill a model, and it's going to shut those guys down before they even have a chance to really get into the battle. Over here, you see the Eagle has landed against my Tomb King, and we have the Storm Riders, who are anti-large guys, so they could possibly do a little damage to my Tomb King. I have to be really careful, because keep in mind, Elariel has healing. If I lose my Lord, I mean, he could possibly, make a comeback. You can see the Necrotech, though, with his really cool whip, is dealing with these Storm Riders here, and yeah, he is anti-infantry, so he will do, pretty good on that. If we go ahead and look at the, just kind of pull away from the map right here, guys, you can see that he is going to send Elariel into combat with the Tomb King. He's going to try to make his last defense. He is going to cast Arcane Conduit. I'm going to cast Tomb Strike, which gives me a bonus to melee attack and makes me cause terror. And yeah, one-on-one, Elariel, even though she has the life advantage, she's not going to beat a Tomb King up on his construct. You can see he is casting Arcane and Forging, so he did save that spell, a really or Winds of Magic heavy spell towards the end, which was kind of a good pick, you know what I mean? But it's going to be a little bit too little, too late. I'm going to be able to cause fear, terror, and breaker, and I also had these unit of halberds that were coming in from the rear, which would have ultimately won the game for me. So that was a really cool one, guys. I had a lot of fun with that one. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's go ahead and look at the in-screen breakdown and talk about some of the keys for my success. And yeah, guys, I mean, I really liked my opponent's build. Good game to you if you see this video. Thought it was really unique. I think numbers really helped me on this one, and also getting that surround. We were able to, a lot of his build was dependent on keeping my infantry in place, and if you could do that, you could get that overwatch by the Sisters, the Bolt Thrower, the Grey, etc. But once I was able to bypass that front line and get in the back, the High Elves really suffered. Also, the Dragon Princes, as good as they are, he was able to get some really good cycle charging. He just didn't really have an answer for the Sphinx. He really needed the Bolt Thrower to be focused on it the whole game to, compensate for having that disadvantage. And I was able to shut it down earlier. But, if you look at the stats of his units, they all did really good. I mean, the Grey got 192 kills. So maybe I need to reevaluate what I think about the Grey. As for my army guys, I mean, the Shaft units did good. I mean, they did their job. They took, they took the volleys, they took the charges, but the real killing power, of course, was my Tomb King. The Catapult was 67, and the Tomb Guard did a lot better. So that was a really cool matchup, guys. I had a lot of fun casting that one. I thought it was really thematic and really cool. So hope you enjoyed that one. Working on some really cool stuff for you guys. I'll see you next time. It's Atticus, and good night, guys. Bye.